Yo, I really don't think there's ever been a better or more important time to learn and to know how to drive stick. Like, this car market is a disaster, and if you think it's bad now, it's only going to get worse. But if you can drive a manual, you can hack this car market. I'm going to show you how. You can actually save yourself a lot of money, and I think you can even make some money. Like, I know some people right now that have bought cars in the past like 3-4 years, and the cars have appreciated quite a bit, specifically because they're manuals. So I'm gonna break down why I think it's such a big advantage right now to know how to drive stick. Again, you can save some money, and I think you can make some money too. Yo, if you are young and like you don't learn, like especially if you're a new driver, I really don't get why you wouldn't learn how to drive stick. Like, I really don't get it. Cars are one of like the biggest purchases you're gonna make in life other than where you live. Like when you go to rent a place or you buy a house or a condo or whatever. They're one of the biggest things you're gonna spend money on. And if you're in the United States, driving remains like a major factor in your life. Like, unless you're in, I don't know, New York City, like very dense cities, you need a car. This entire country is built all around the car still. Our public transportation in most of the country still sucks. So it's like buying a car, owning a car, it's one of the most important things you're gonna do in your life. It really is. And there's so many benefits to driving stick, including safety, by the way. Like, straight up, if you're like a relatively new driver and you don't want to learn how to drive stick, can you actually leave a comment right now and explain like what the issue is? And don't leave a comment and tell me something obvious, like, oh, I live in the city, so I don't even have a car. Like, give me a good reason, an honest reason. I really would like to know. Anyway, let me break this down for you, bro. Okay, so I tried to help my nephew find his first car in the past, I don't know, like 6 months. I was shocked at how bad the car market is. I was so shocked because new cars, they've gone up in price, but the value you get and the increase in price is not as bad as used cars. It's basically like cars are not depreciating as fast as they used to, but the new car prices are still relatively stable. I mostly lease new cars. So I knew the car market was bad, but I didn't realize how bad it was until I went to help my nephew. He was like, I got like 10,000 max to get something. I was like, 10,000? I'll easily find you something reliable for that. Then I start looking, I'm like, Jesus, I can't get anything for 10K. Nothing but shit boxes for 10,000. Cars are like a decade old, like 10 years old, 150,000 miles on them, salvage title. Like, bro, I was honestly shocked. I was like, no, this is out of control. But then I was like, let me see a little something here, because I noticed like certain models of cars, you could get them under 10K. So it's like, why are these cheap? Like the Nissan Versa. And then you look into them and you see, oh, these cars have trash transmissions. Like the transmission is very likely to go out on you. And just like a general rule of thumb when it comes to cars, having a major transmission issue, that's pretty much going to be the most expensive thing that can happen to you. Most expensive repair, whether you need to do a rebuild or swap in a new transmission. Like on most cars, that's going to be the most expensive thing. It's so hard for me, by the way, to talk about transmissions nowadays, because like I spent all my formative years like deep into like, car enthusiast culture in the Bronx, New York, and nobody ever says my transmission. Be like, oh, my tranny blew, bro. Be like, yo, what happened to bro's car? Bro, he blew his tranny last night. He blew his tranny? What? Yeah, bro, he went to the strip, blew the tranny, that was it. Bro, you coming out tonight to the races? Nah, man, my trans is acting up. I think I'm good. I feel like I can't use the lingo we use because I'm gonna trip the algorithm or something. It's gonna flag me and think I'm doing, like politics or something. Anyway, so getting back to the cars and the manual trans cars here. So check this out. Like this particular year Nissan Versa, you can get one of these for a little under 10K. I mean, the mileage is pretty high. But the reason it's cheap is because these things are like time bombs. Trans is trash on these. These transmissions suck. So these cars have a bad rep. People are not stupid. They do research nowadays. So they look up, is the Nissan Versa a good car? And then Google's gonna tell them, using AI, well, the Nissan Versa has bad transmissions and it's going to explode on you and you should not buy it. But these cars came in manual. Check it out. And Nissan manual transmissions are usually fine. And look at that, same year car, it's a little cheaper and has half the mileage. So you'll actually save some money on the car, and then you don't have to worry about the transmission. The transmission is the worst part of this car but by getting the manual version, you have removed the worst part of the car. The rest of this car is solid. I mean, damn, for a 10-year-old car, they don't look that bad. They still look pretty good. It's a small car, it doesn't have power, but this one's only got 53,000 miles, so provided the rest of this car is okay, you could drive this thing forever. Look, this got the good climate control with the physical buttons. I hate the touchscreens nowadays. Like, this is a good car. You could drive this for a long time. And we'll touch on this more in a bit, but fewer people than ever can even drive stick, and a lot of people who drive stick want a sporty car. And so even if you're not someone who wants like a sporty vehicle, you will benefit by learning how to drive stick, because you can get these like more pedestrian vehicles that car enthusiasts aren't going to go for as much. But regular people don't want them either because they don't know how to drive stick. People are NPC drivers nowadays, more than ever. They can't drive stick. So that's why the more reliable, much better version of the car with half the mileage is cheaper in the manual than the automatic, that if it explodes on you is going to cost half the price probably of what you're going to pay for this. I mean, look at this one, a 2016, a year newer, even less mileage for the same price. Manual transmission. And this is the S. It's gonna be even faster, bro. You're gonna get another 5 horsepower with this version. Perfectly acceptable commuter car, right? Again, if you're not a car enthusiast, this is how you can still benefit by learning how to drive stick. And both of these are a hell of a good first car. Like, this is a great first car. You buy this, you drive either of these things most likely for, you could probably drive them at least 5 or 8 years. You won't really have any issues. And this is not the only example of where the bad reputation of the automatic transmission version of the car drags down the price of the manual because it gets lumped in with it. There's other cars like this. So you got the Ford Focus, it's the same thing. Notoriously bad transmissions. But you can get the stick, 43,000 miles, practically a new car for $9K, which is a full $1,000 cheaper than a comparable automatic version, again, that will explode on you. These type of stick cars fall through the cracks, I'm telling you. Like, this is a hell of a good first car. And again, it's the S, so you get like, 8 more horsepower. You see, the automatic is only 9,000 with 43,000 miles on it. So, this is a car with low mileage under $10,000, but it's cheap for a reason, because this transmission is probably going to blow on you, and if it does, you're screwed. But the manual basically costs the same price, and it removes the worst part about the car. Ford Fiesta, same thing as the Focus, the automatic, 9,000 or 31,000 miles. Wow, this will be a great car. $10,000, 31,000 miles, it's new. Yeah, because it's going to explode on you, bro, and it's 10 years old. But you can get a 2016 Fiesta, similar mileage, 46K, but it comes in stick. Hell of a good first car. And in this case, it's actually $1,000 cheaper, the Fiesta. The automatic, they want $9,800. The stick is $8,700. You save $1,000 right there. And by the way, I picked like comparable vehicles across multiple models to show you. But if you didn't want these particular year cars, or this price is still too high for you, you could just go hunting for cheap stick cars in general. So like I was saying, when I was helping my nephew find a car, I know how hard it is to find like a decently reliable used car for under 10,000. Like, it's very difficult, if not impossible, unless you switch over and look for sticks only. So we got a 2010 Nissan Versa. It's a pretty old car, but look, it's 5,000 with 87,000 miles on it. Like, you check this car out, it's probably gonna be an okay car. I mean, it's 5,000. Provided everything's okay with this car, this is a great first car and it's pretty cheap. The thing with these particular cars too, like, you get these more like economy, pedestrian type cars. Even when they come in stick, it's unlikely that this car was beat on, because it's not a race car. Like, this is a slow car. Like, who knows who owned this car, previously, but they weren't going, they weren't going fast. The car's slow. It's not like you're buying a used WRX that for sure has been beaten on. I mean, check this out. If you're on a real budget and you want to look for cars under 10,000, like, here's the car I just showed you. There's a lot of manual transmission cars that I think would be reasonably reliable that are under 10,000. Like, same thing here, Chevrolet Spark. I'm not an expert on the Chevrolet Spark, okay? I haven't done research on this car, but just knowing like these Chevrolets, these old Chevrolets, like, if I was buying a used one, I'd be worried about the transmission personally, if it was an auto. At least with this stick, I can evaluate it better. And that's something important too. Once you learn how to drive stick, It is way easier to check out one of these used stick cars and see if the transmission is good. Like, you can tell if the clutch is slipping. Does it stay in gear? Is it grinding gears? It's literally manual, so you can feel it. Nowadays with automatics on modern cars, especially like anything 2010 and up, like the automatic versions of a lot of these cars, it can be pretty difficult to tell like if there's something wrong. Like sometimes it's obvious, you can tell the transmission is slipping. Like it's not impossible to tell. I'm just saying it's much easier to tell if a used stick car you're driving for the first time and trying to examine, it's much easier to evaluate that than it is an automatic. The other nice thing too is, provided the person didn't grind the gears and ruin the synchros in there, the worst thing that can happen transmission wise, or the most likely thing, is that it needs a new clutch. But changing the clutch is so much cheaper and easier for a mechanic to do than rebuilding an automatic transmission or swapping in like a junkyard transmission. I mean, it's not that hard to swap in a new transmission, but they're more expensive than ever. Like, parts are crazy, I'm telling you. So I think you guys get the picture, okay? On this particular point. You're hacking the market here. You're taking advantage of the fact that these cars have bad reputations just basically because of transmission, and they come in manual. Now, if you already know how to drive a manual car, in my opinion, what's happening right now with cars, it is like a perfect storm against manual transmission cars. And so there's going to be money to be made, and there's going to be money to be saved, and certainly lots of fun to be had. So the golden age of cars is over. I don't know if you've noticed it yet. Everything's going electric. Every year, the list of manual transmission cars you can even buy, it just keeps decreasing. It's not expanding at all. I won't lie, like the WRX that I feature in a lot of my videos and like I use for a lot of my videos, like it's the first WRX I've ever owned. I like the car, don't get me wrong. But here's the thing, I needed 4 doors because I needed to fit a car seat in the back. I wanted a little performance. I wanted a manual transmission. And then I live in the Northeast, so, you know, I really needed some all-wheel drive. I needed all-wheel drive. Like, I feel like such an idiot being out in, like, some snow, like, with a baby in the back seat, and I'm, like, you know, spinning and stuck. Safety was just important. Like, that was on the top of my list. So I took a look. Dude, the WRX is literally the only new car you can buy that comes with a manual transmission, has little performance, has all-wheel drive, and is a sedan. It's the only option. So don't get me wrong, I like the car, but it's the only option. There was no other option. The next closest thing was like a GR Corolla, which was way more expensive, and the back seats are way more cramped. Like, it was just not going to work with a car seat. Car seat barely fits in the WRX. Technically, I could have got the Elantra N, but the back seats don't fold down. Or they do, and there's like a crossbar in between or something like that. And it's front wheel drive, like it was not as practical as the WRX. So it was only one option. Golden age of cars is over, bro, I'm telling you. Like, yes, there's like the most insane Corvette is about to come out, right? But that's like the sign that the end is here. Like, how are they gonna make the Corvette any faster than it is? It's peaked. We have peaked. Anyway, let me not go off on too much of a tangent, but the point is that everything's going electric. We know this, and there's less manuals being sold. That's the most important thing. The next thing is that younger generations, the younger you go, they just don't even drive as much. All statistics seem to say younger gens don't drive as much. I mean, it makes sense. Like, you could do Uber, right? Like, you can just use car sharing ride apps. Also, with how expensive everything is, I can understand why it's like, well, why would I even bother getting a car? I can't afford a car. I don't even think younger people driving less is necessarily all about them just not wanting to drive. There's actual barriers. I mean, what's the whole point of the start of this video is that you can barely find a car. I do think, generally speaking, manual transmission vehicles do appeal slightly to younger drivers, like just historically. Like, who's buying like a manual transmission sports car? Maybe not someone in high school or college, but you know, like young professionals, people out of college, they get a job, they want to get a car, right? They want to get something fun, they get a stick. There's just less people doing that now. Like, that has to be part of it. They're not, all the auto manufacturers, they're not making less manuals because that's just what they want to do. They're doing it because less people are going for the manual transmission cars. So regardless of like my theories behind it, they're making less sticks because less people want to drive a stick. And the trend is not reversing. And the last part of this perfect storm against manuals, we got self-driving cars coming. Now, I don't know if they're gonna perfect the self-driving car this year or next year. It may not even be Tesla that pulls it off. It might be another company. It might take another 10 years, but it's clear that it's coming. Like, there's no way. Even if we don't have full self-driving anytime soon, most new cars and more new cars are coming with all sorts of driver assistant aids like Super Cruise and all that shit. And the manufacturers are putting all these automated systems, driver assistance systems on the cars, because not only do people not want to have to shift the car, they don't even want to drive it anyway. Like, I think the average driver would much prefer to just let the car drive for them. There's a lot of other reasons, but I don't think anybody would disagree with me when I say it's a perfect storm against manuals. It's not going to reverse. Now, I think the way you can make money is, even though the demand for manual cars is going down, there's still plenty of people like me who grew up watching Fast and Furious, and like, you want the stick and you want that Super, you want that R34 GTR, right? If you can't get either of those, you want the next best thing. When you look at like the statistics, especially among men, you start earning more usually in your 30s and on up. Like, it's no secret, the older you go, on average, older people have more money than younger people. You've been around, right? And so there's still enough people out there that as they get older, they got a little money, they're gonna want to go buy a used car that they couldn't have had, you know, when they were younger, and they're gonna want the stick. So even though overall demand is decreasing, for particular cars on the used market, the demand is just gonna keep going up and the price will just keep going up. Now, the economy cars, like I showed you, like a little 2015 Nissan Versa, that's just gonna keep going down in price. That's not going back up. Also, like mass-produced cars, like the WRX, is that gonna go up in value? I don't think so. But the specialty versions of cars, those will. So the WRX is not going to go up. But right now, the WRX STI, there's no STI for the current gen WRX. The previous gen WRX STI practically cost as much on the used market as a brand new WRX. And I think the value will probably keep going up. Specialty, more lower volume vehicles. Just an example off the top of my head, someone I know personally. They bought a really low mileage 2013 Boxster S in manual, like 4 years ago. They paid like low 40s or something, or mid 40s or something like that. That thing is now worth deep into the 50s, maybe even could get into the 60s, because he got like a really good car, really low mileage, mint condition, real nice. But the key in that situation, again, specialty. So it's not just the Boxster, it's the Boxster S. You gotta have that S on there. There is a difference. So like a base Boxster, I don't know if that's gonna really go up in price, even if it's a manual. It might appreciate a little bit, but people, when they go into the used market, they get older, they got money, they're gonna want the specialty trim. So like, general rule of thumb, no base models. Nobody wants a base model. Now, maybe I'll do a video on cars I think we'll appreciate, but we'll just stick to the generalities for this video. Specialty trim cars. Manual transmission in good condition, probably gonna go up in value. So if you can drive stick and you already are a car enthusiast, maybe you splurge a little bit, you stretch a little bit, and you get that nicer model. Honestly, within like 5 years, you'll probably be able to sell it for more. The inflation's not going to stop. The government has no control over the inflation. They got to just keep printing the money. It's basically a giant Ponzi scheme. That's a good talk, by the way, for I'll do a drive and a hike. We'll talk all about that, but I don't see the inflation stopping. The Federal Reserve literally says that their stated goal is like, what, 2% inflation a year? Like that's their goal. They want inflation. So if the inflation drops too low, they'll just lower interest rates to get the inflation back up. They have literally told us year in and year out, inflation forever. They're telling you. So if you have something valuable, it's going to go up. The trick, of course, is it can be very hard to find the right cars that are going to go up in value. So that's why we would need a whole video. Now, even if you're not trying to like make money, look, I love manual transmissions, my favorite thing. I'm gonna keep trying to have a stick car as long as possible, but you gotta put your personal feelings aside. The reality is that over the next 5 to 10 years, there's gonna be insane electric cars that are gonna hit the market, man. Like sporty vehicles, they are right around the corner. I mean, already there's all those Tesla models that are just like insanely fast, you know? There's only going to be more of those. I guarantee you, half the dudes you know right now are like, yeah, bro, I never drive an electric car. This is whack, bro. I guarantee you half of those dudes are going to be in some sporty electric car over the next 5 or 10 years. And they'll just justify it because of the performance, like how fast it is. It's all new, looks cool. That's what's gonna happen, man. It's not a hard prediction. Even among car enthusiasts, they'll just take copium and they're gonna just switch to the electric cars. So what does that mean? A lot of used stick cars are gonna hit the market. Like, this might even apply to me. Like, right now, I want to keep my WRX. Like, I love the WRX. I give back most of my leases. I want to keep it. Like, I'm that dude right now. I'm like, no, I refuse to get the electric car. But bro, like 5 years from now, 4 years from now, they bring the Camaro back. Imagine, and it's like electric, and it's like 35,000, and it gets like 350 miles of range, does 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds, something like insane. It looks like crazy futuristic. I'm gonna be like, that shit looks pretty sick. And then I'll just take copium. I'll be like, yeah, bro, like, okay, well, I can't shift it, but like, it does 0 to 60. How could I possibly shift something this fast anyway? It does 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, bro. Why would I care about that? You know? So in that scenario, that means I'm probably going to give my WRX up, trade it in, or try to sell it, right? This is what's going to happen. So like the specialty cars like WRX STI, that's going to go up in value, I think. But all the mass-produced stuff, it's going to flood the market. Everybody, even car enthusiasts, I'm telling you, even the holdouts, they're going to be getting the electric cars. You only need like half of them to do so. And so the buyer pool for all these used stick cars is going to drop like crazy. And what that means is if you know how to drive stick, I think you're going to be able to scoop up some like really awesome cars for like really low prices. Like, I think we'll be surprised by how cheap some of these cars are gonna get compared to like what they were new. Like, it won't be a specialty model, right? But it might be, I imagine, I like Camaros. I imagine like just maybe the latest gen Camaro, like just like a SS. Just like a base model SS, you know, not something specialty, not a specialty trim. I could see that dropping so low. People are like, bro, what? Like, can you remember how much this car used to cost? Can you believe it's so cheap? And people will be like, yeah, it's cheap because the new electric Camaro does 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. It dusts it, so nobody wants that anymore, even though that used to be a fast car. You know what I'm saying? So like a Camaro ZL1, that's gonna probably go up in value, like a lot. But just like your run-of-the-mill like SS, maybe base model, maybe just like a couple options on it, I think they're gonna drop like a brick. Because again, it's the perfect storm. People want the electric, they're gonna want the performance. Younger generations, they don't drive stick, so who's gonna be scooping these up? No one's gonna be there to buy these cars. They're gonna go down. So I think you can make money, but you're also, if you're patient, like, you're gonna be able to scoop some like crazy stick cars. Now they're not gonna be free, like a last gen Camaro. It's not gonna be like 5,000 in 5 years, you know. It's not gonna be that cheap, but it's gonna be significantly cheaper than it is now. Okay, I don't know how long this video is, so let me just wrap it up with the more obvious stuff at the end. I saved this stuff for the end, but these are benefits. This is why you need to learn to drive stick, man. Please, beyond everything I just described. The biggest thing is that it's fun. Not everybody thinks it's fun. Some people think it's work, but I love it. Like, even if I get in stop and go traffic, I'm not one of those people like, oh damn, I hate driving stick and stop and go traffic. I like it. One thing I've never heard someone say they regret learning. Like, people might be like, yo, oh, I blew my knee out, bro. I can't drive stick anymore. Oh, I got like a stop and go commute. I can't drive. I've heard that stuff. I've never heard someone be like, yo, I can't believe I wasted time learning how to drive stick. It was so stupid. Never heard it. If you're a car enthusiast, you gotta learn how to drive stick. You just have to. It's like a rite of passage. And then you can join us, because as everybody gets these electric cars, we'll be driving our sticks still like dinosaurs. And the electric car bros will be like, yo, this is slow, man. I can't believe you still shift your gears. And then at least we can be like, yo, at least we're not lazy. At least we don't only drive D for Dummies automatic electric car. You gotta learn so you can be on our side, all right? Now, but in all seriousness too, okay? Even if you're not a car enthusiast, what I'm describing will benefit you. You could not be a car enthusiast, right? Learn how to drive stick, get the cheaper car, bro, save money. Or bro, could be some girls watching this. I don't know, the stats say it's all dudes, but I don't know. But beyond saving money, here's what I think is one of the most important things. I saved it more for the end, but whatever. Driving stick will make you a safer driver. You have to think ahead to drive stick, so you have to pay attention. You have to be engaged. You can't just drive it. You have to be paying attention because you have to know what gear you're going to be in. You're forced to think ahead and look ahead and see what's going on. That makes you safer. You don't have the attention span to be on your phone the whole time, right? Like, you got to pay attention and shift. You can't be scrolling Instagram reels and driving stick, at least not easily. So especially if you're a new driver, it's going to force you to pay attention. And then, of course, if you're young, hey, I don't know what dating's like for you guys, but you know, I would think driving stick, maybe you'll impress someone. I doubt it will impress like all people, or maybe even a majority of people, but there's gotta be someone out there. There's gotta be some girl who would be impressed by that, or guy. Like, it might not seal the deal, but they might think it's cool. Maybe they grew up, maybe they watched Fast and Furious. Maybe their dad showed them Fast and Furious, you know? So you see you driving stick and they associate with that, you know? Could be a benefit to you. I don't know. And also, none of your friends are gonna know how to drive stick, most likely, so you don't have to deal, yo bro, can I drive you? Yo bro, let me drive your car. Be like, they won't even ask. They'll be terrified. But hey, I hope this video provided value to you. I feel like I said what I wanted to say on this. Let me know in the comments if it was beneficial to you. If you have like questions or anything, let me know. And again, if you're a new driver and you're young and you don't want to learn how to drive stick, can you leave me a comment and let me know why? Like, I want to understand, because this doesn't make any sense to me. Particularly if you're a car enthusiast, but just like in general, bro. Like, maybe you have money. Your parents got money. They can buy you like a brand new car or something. Like, if you're young and you gotta buy your own car and pay for it, like I had to buy my own car. Like, you don't want a huge discount and get something more reliable? I don't get it. Anyway, that's all I got for now, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.